Chapter 7. Trashing Joey's Room. When I got to Joey's house that night, his room looked the same as always, but not for long. "Been working on myself so far," he said. "Now it's my room's turn." First we put up posters. Rambo, Hulk Hogan, and one showing this big nasty robot type dude, except you could see whiskers and a long tail sticking out. It was called Robo-Rat. He checked out the walls. Good, now the rest. He started with his bookshelf. He pulled out 4 or 5 volumes from his encyclopedia and threw them on the floor. Then he tossed out a couple comic books and a National Geographic. He opened every drawer in his dresser. He flipped out stuff from each one: socks, underwear, shirts. They landed all over. He kicked his wastebasket over. He dragged his dirty clothes hamper from the closet and dumped it on the floor. He charged into his desk. Pencils and papers and rubber bands went flying. About the only thing he didn't do was spit. By now, you could hardly see the floor. He stood in the middle, turning, nodding, smiling. "Yeah, now it's my room." I just sat on the bed, stunned. Until then, Joey Peterson's room had been the neatest room I had ever seen. And he wasn't done. We ordered a pizza, and when he got down to the crust of each slice, he tossed it over his shoulder. One landed in his underwear drawer. The pizza box he flipped like a frisbee against a wall. After that, we had fudgesicles and peanut chews. The wrappers, at least, his wrappers, went onto the floor. He took a wad of bubble gum from his mouth and winged it against his dresser mirror. It stuck. I guess he couldn't think of anything else to do to his room, because he turned back to himself. He pulled something from his pocket. It looked like a little notepad. "What is it?" I asked him. He grinned. "Tattoos." Oh no. Into the bathroom we went. He tore off 4 and wetted them. Pretty soon he was tattooed on the chest, skull and crossbones, both arms, a cobra and a mongoose, and another one. "You know, they're not going to last," I told him. "They'll last till I get a bath," he said, "and I ain't getting a bath except once a month from now on." I pinched my nose. "Oh, great, man. Do you have to smell like a rat too?" As we left the bathroom, we bumped into his mother. "I saw your room," she said. "What are you doing in there, training elephants?" We laughed. "Well," she looked at Joey, "as soon as Suds leaves tomorrow, you see that it gets cleaned up." Uh-oh, I thought. This is it. Will he practice what he preaches? Joey slouched against the bathroom doorway. He looked off down the hall. "Nah, I don't think so." Mrs. Peterson blinked. "You don't think what?" "I don't think I'm going to clean it up. I like it that way." I took a step back. If Mrs. Peterson was about to get violent, I wanted to be out of range. Joey looked at the floor. I looked at Mrs. Peterson. Mrs. Peterson glared daggers at Joey. This lasted for about 3 hours. Then all of a sudden it was over. Mrs. Peterson gave a little shrug and a smile and said, "Okay," and walked away. I gawked at Joey. Just on this one day, he had faced a bee and a mad mother, and here he was, alive and healthy as ever. He gave me a thumbs up sign. "See? Nothing to it." Then Joey told me to wait in his room. When he came back, he had a hammer, a jar of nails, a bag of cotton balls, a bottle of iodine, and some Band-Aids. I asked what all that was for. "Put a hole in my ear," he said. I screeched, "You're gonna wear an earring?" "Nope." "So why are you putting a hole in your ear?" He grinned. "Pain." If I didn't already think he was loony, I knew it now. I told him, "The only thing about you that's turning rat is your brain." He ignored me. He cleared a space on his desk. He opened the jar of nails and dumped them out. He rooted through them until he found one he liked, a long, thin one. He handed me the nail, along with the hammer. He got a felt-tip pen, went to his mirror, and put a dot in the middle of his right earlobe. He came back to the desk, knelt down beside it real close, and flapped his lobe out so it sat like a tiny pancake on the top edge of the desk. I looked at the hammer and nail in my hands. "Oh no," I said. I dumped them on the desk and took a seat on the bed. "You do it if you're crazy enough." "I would," he said, "but I can't. Not like this. Come on, just do it." I didn't move. "You mind if I ask you a stupid question? Like why you would want to hammer a hole in your ear? What do you mean, pain?" He pulled his earlobe off the desk. He sat on the floor. "You gotta learn to take pain, that's all. No more crybaby, like the Indians used to do. You had to go through stuff really painful before you could become a man. You had to prove you could take it." "I got good news for you," I told him. "You're not an Indian." He looked at me, disgusted. He grabbed the hammer and held it out. "You gonna do it?" I shook my head no. He threw the hammer down. "Thanks, pal." "Listen," I said, "if it means that much to you, why don't you just do some easier kind of pain? Something you don't need a hammer and nail for." "Like what?" he said. I thought about it. "Well, how about bending your finger back?" "Nah," he said, "that's dorky." I thought some more. "How about kicking your door with your bare big toe?" He didn't like that one either. "I got it," I said. "Knuckle your head 10 times. Forget it." But now I didn't want to forget it. I was getting into it. I rattled off some more. "Pull out a hair. Sit the 3 thickest volumes of the encyclopedia on your tongue. Sleep all night with erasers up your nose. Wrap your mouth around the doorknob and slam it shut." I was still going when the phone rang. It was pretty late, so we were both surprised when his mother called and said it was for him. He went out. When he came back, he looked innocent. Too innocent. "It was her, wasn't it?" I said. "I told her not to call people so late." I shoved him. "Traitor." He shoved me back. "Listen, Morton, I didn't call her. She called me." "Took you long enough to hang up. What do you want me to do, slam down the phone as soon as she said hello?" "Maybe I want you to lay off her." He laughed. "I keep telling you I don't care about her. I'm not chasing her. She's chasing me. You want her to chase you?" He threw the pad of tattoos in my face. "Do something about it." We glared at each other. He turned on the TV. We watched a couple movies. In the silence. We went to bed. When we woke up Saturday morning, I said, "Okay." He rubbed sleepies from his eyes. "Okay, what? What do I do?" He sat up. "You're ready to be a rat?" I shrugged. "I guess so, but I don't think I know how. It doesn't come natural to me." "No sweat," he said. "We just do what all beginners do." "What's that?" "Practice."